Hi, everybody. It's Caroline Trudeau reporting for the Women Automotive Network. I'm honored today to be in the company of Sabine Scheunert from Mercedes-Benz. Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world.
Hey, Caroline, also from my side, hello to everyone.
Hi. So where are you in the world today?
Well, my home is Stuttgart at the moment, here in Germany. So I've been based here in Stuttgart now for the last 5 years, and currently inside the office, which is a very, I would say, cool alternative to the home office space.
And very sleek looking. I was going to ask you if that's a background, but it's the beautiful office. So you all are back in the office. Are you full time? Tell me a little bit about that.
No, we are still on, I would say the majority of our people are still working remotely, wherever they are based. It's just, we had an important meeting today, so I joined physically, and we also try to get a bit more familiar with the new normal. So testing in the mornings and staying for a day in the office, yeah, and then staying again 3 to 4 days back in the home office.
Yeah, one of the questions that I ask a lot in these question setups is, are you looking forward to going back to normal or to creating the new or the next normal? What is your position on that spectrum?
I would hope that we are really trying to create the new normal. Yeah, that we try to kind of safeguard those topics where we had no idea that it would really work so well. Yeah, so I hope that we can keep, and that we are not traveling just for a day, yeah, on long distance flights, yeah, so that we can keep that it also works remotely. Yeah, but I also have to admit that I miss my teams, yeah, and something that's kind of new normal, which is the old one. Yeah, I hope that we are also getting it back very, very soon now.
Yeah, good. Yeah, same. So let's talk a little bit about work. Talk to me about what you're responsible for. Tell the audience, what are your responsibilities? What do you do? What's the day in the life of Sabine like?
Well, so I work for Mercedes-Benz here in Stuttgart as Vice President Digital IT. This is with regards to sales marketing after sales. It's a very big division in our company. And so what am I doing here is that I'm responsible with my teams around the globe for all IT-based marketing, sales after sales activities, and for sure also with regards to the creation of the new digital customer experience.
It's a lot. This is big. How many people are dedicated to this craft, to these responsibilities in your company?
Yeah, so I would say as we are working in matrix functions, so in my direct team, we are talking about more than 2,000 people around the globe in all our national sales companies, but we have huge digital hubs as well in Bangalore and in Lisbon, in Berlin, in Madrid, in Istanbul, yeah, in Beijing, in Atlanta. So we are really a global team working on creating that radical digitization strategy for Mercedes-Benz.
That's very, very impressive. That's a lot of people dedicated to serving customers. I am in that business myself, so I could go on and on for days. I do want to know one question. What is the most important priority when it comes to serving customers that you all are working together towards in 2021?
Well, I think it hasn't changed. I think it is delivering an added value. For us, it was always important to kind of identify where our customers still have pain points. And then we always try to find good digital products which are safeguarding their time so that customers do not have to invest so much time anymore. Yeah, whilst they are doing a reclamation, whilst they are configuring a car. So we want to make it as easy for them in their usage as we can. And I think this is what keeps us really busy in terms of finding the right solution for our customers.
Yes, there's never going to be a time, I think, where customer pain points get old.
No, absolutely not.
We're always going to have pain points. Yeah. What sources do you use nowadays to identify that pain point? Like what are some great sources where people are communicating with you, like this is what we want and this is what we demand from your products and services?
Yeah. Well, I would say, Caroline, that in the automotive industry, we have been extremely steadily in contact with our customers, so either through research or by really integrating them and in defining the new digital products. And this is also what we are keeping on. So we have A/B testings when it comes to our internet pages, as we are interviewing them, and we really try to stay as close in contact with them as possible in order to be really right on the point with our products and deliverables.
That's great. I find that people want to talk about their pain points and they want to help create solutions. You just have to figure out how to ask them in a way that makes sense for your product, for your service. So that's great. Broadening the aperture a little bit to, you know, the macro things that are happening in automotive. What trend are you keeping up with personally? Like, what are you really interested in all the macro trends that are happening?
Well, I would say the biggest trend currently is data, because when you look into connectivity and digitization, data has really a crucial role here. And when you think about how we are trying to design the new future mobility concept, so therefore it's super important as we are having large quantities of data, that we are able to utilize them in terms of defining the new business models. So you can imagine we are having these challenges around autonomous driving, whenever it comes to our driving assistance systems, the vehicle safety topics, but also for sure the new digital services. And here we believe that data can fuel somehow innovation in the automotive industry. So if you ask me the biggest automotive trend currently, I would respond data.
And I believe that is the topic of your keynote at the event coming up. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
This is what I was asked to kind of share. Yeah, and I'm really looking forward in hopefully also having a cool open conversation then after the keynote.
Well, we're definitely all looking forward to it. Thank you so much for joining us for that. Speaking of data, in your role, how do you use data to make decisions, to drive your agenda forward, to respond to customer needs? What data do you consume daily, and how does it help you do your job more efficiently?
Well, data is really, as I said, relevant for all areas along our, what we call our value chain. It's really important because what we did is already, it shows that we are able to increase efficiency, that we are able to constantly learn by analyzing data. And therefore, it's so important as we are living in this changing processes and in this changing, radical changing world, to have a good basis for our decision making. So what we are really looking into is also to use only data for sure if we are convinced that the data quality is very good, yeah, which is still a topic on which we are currently working. But as I said, I would say today, alongside the entire value chain, data is really relevant for us.
Yeah, that's great. So one of the topics that's really important, I think, to our community, the women in automotive community, is diversity. And of course, it's 2021. You can't really have this kind of discussion without talking about diversity. I want to take a little bit of a different spin with you because you are so passionate about data and so integrated into its use, and it's so important to how you manage your business and what you bring to the market. What do you use data? How do you use data to ensure that the experiences that you deliver to your customers are actually diverse? How do you consider diversity and data together in the experiences that you deliver?
When you talk about here, I think about two topics. We see it from two angles. First angle is for sure that diversity in general, meaning the teams that are working inside our organization. We really believe that diversity is driving somehow innovation. But it's also important if you think about how quality has to be in terms of data, not to be biased. Yeah, it also is super crucial that you have really a high number of data whilst then going in a true execution of use cases. So I would say that the two topics, data and diversity, is essential in terms of really bringing out long-lasting solutions.
Yeah, it's. I think you talked about A/B testing too earlier on.
Yes.
It's with the right tools and the right techniques, you can definitely scavenge not only a lot more of data, but also go broader with the net that you cast. And I imagine that you all have very up-to-date and very modern technologies to do all of that. Oh, that's great. That's so exciting. That's very exciting. Thank you. So what, as part of your presentation, what is one of the key points? What is the key message of your presentation? What can we tease the audience with?
Well, maybe we could tease the audience that we within Mercedes-Benz, we take data not only serious in terms of how we are utilizing data, but also data has become, I would say, a value and a very strong pillar in our digitization, but also in our sustainability strategy. And whoever is interested in learning more, he or she, should take time then in terms of watching our keynote during the conference.
I love this tease with sustainability. I will be there. Thank you. Great, great team. Switching gears a little bit after that wonderful wrap up there. What is your career's proudest moment?
Well, this is always a very difficult question. I would say, Caroline, that most probably, as you know, I'm working in an industry where we call it always, we have a rather a brownfield system. So it's not a greenfield approach which we have. And therefore, I think the proudest moment in the last years was when my teams around the globe, we were able to modernize the IT infrastructure and the entire IT applications towards a more microservice-based architecture. And we have really achieved tremendous results in renovating that IT architecture and the entire landscape. And we have nearly, I think, more than 5 billion or nearly between 4 and 5 billion calls per month currently across the entire IT application that I'm carrying or I'm signing responsible for.
Wow, that's a big deal. Yes. And it is something to look to look up to. It's an example to set as, you know, a giant in the industry, as a brand that the entire world recognizes. For you to say we are investing in the modernization of our own technology and keeping up with trends, it's very inspiring as well. Thank you for sharing that. We have to share our moments of accomplishments and gratitude, and at the same time talk about the moments where we've had to overcome a lot. What's been a difficult moment? What's been a place where, you know, you've had some challenges to overcome?
Well, I would say that building, and I took it back, I had the opportunity and chance, so I felt really privileged. So I was invited by the Harvard Business School, and I spent nearly a week, met extremely interesting people and also professors. And I had Amy Edmondson in Harvard. She teaches in Harvard, and she taught me about how important it is to create a psychological safety within an organization. So I started in trying to build that fearless, psychological safe working environment without knowing that we would enter in that pandemic situation in 2020. And I would say that it was a work where we, in our company, we were really not used to that. And it really had took a bit of time to adopt, to create the right mindsets and the behaviors. But I have to admit that the innovation and the breakthrough which we achieved by having kept really believing into that psychological safety is a norm, it's really tremendous. And therefore I'm happy. It was challenging, but I'm also happy that we were so steadily really working on it.
Wow, what a great show of leadership to begin something pre-pandemic, and how appropriate psychological safety, right, for what the world went through and continues to go through. and to have the courage to keep investing in that through these difficult times. I'm sure your teams appreciate it. I'm sure they do. Let's talk about the women networking, this community that we belong to. How important has networking been in your career, in your success, in you getting assigned to some of these great opportunities to go abroad, to come back to? How important has networking been for you?
Yeah, Caroline, you're mentioning something very important. As I have been moving throughout my career, so I have been based in Munich, then followed by Paris, Shanghai, and now it's Stuttgart, here back in Germany. Networks for me were always really crucial, as I was able to learn, to get inspired, and I was also able to increase my knowledge by simply growing together with the ones that were spending time with me. So networks still today, I would say, are probably the source of my energy and motivation, because I was always able to somehow address those topics where I didn't have immediately a reply, a response, yeah. And therefore I can only suggest everyone to try it out and really in believing in those networks that you are creating.
Ah, that's great. It's really true that the phoning a friend in the network when a challenge comes about is always a great resource to have. Who comes to mind when you think of a woman who has had an impact and has been a true inspiration in your career? Who's the top woman that comes to mind?
Well, first of all, I think and when I started in the automotive industry, I have to admit, in the beginning, there weren't so many. Unfortunately, this is now changing, and I'm so happy and also really supportive in making that change by myself. But let me probably try to find one. And she was hosting and supporting me in writing my thesis for BMW. Daniela Brenk is her name. I have no idea where she is, where she lives. I didn't try to Google her, yeah, so it might be a big surprise for her. But she was the one whom I met in the auto industry, I would say first. And she accompanied me in that phase of still writing for the university, my thesis, and then starting to work. And I would say that this was really an impactful and also a very delightful moment in meeting her.
We have to give a shout out to Danita, right?
Yes.
We'll find her and send her a little clip. But it showcases the importance of caring for each other and looking out for each other and just supporting in ways that are just as important as writing a thesis, all the way to preparing for big interviews or things of that nature. That's great. So my final question for today is, in one word, it's a tough one. In one word, what is the opportunity for women in automotive?
You said one word?
Yes, one word that describes the opportunity for women in automotive. It's a tough one.
Okay, I have one. My word would be lead.
Lead. Very good. Tell me more, though. Tell me more what you mean about lead.
Yeah, I had, I have to admit that I had several words that came across my mind. So I had first, should I say inspire, change, but at the end is that I think it's important now that we have more and more women, not only in my industry, but I hope across the industries. And it's about leading, it's about taking responsibility, stepping up, going onto the scene, spreading the word, yeah, speaking out loud, and I think this all somehow hopefully summarizes in the word lead.
Yes, and you gave me goosebumps. So thank you for that. That's a very, very inspiring moment. Well, on behalf of everyone at the network, thank you so much for joining us today. And I really look forward to seeing you again in June.
Perfect. Caroline, thanks a lot for the interview.